Okay. Can you guys hear me? It looks like it might be a little laggy. Let me know if it's a little laggy at all. And I'll try to drop it down. Let's try that. All right. Game time. Okay. What's going on, Editoni from Croatia? That's awesome. Okay. Oh, there's a commercial. Well, I guess I can tell who has ad block on and who doesn't. I'm listening to Universal Religion live from 2008, which was a great, it was a great song. But anyway, let me know. I guess everybody's doing pretty good. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is a beautiful day, is it not? It's supposed to be like 70 degrees today, and so on. Like I'm digging. Okay, people are saying it's really really laggy. Okay, let's up the. Let's take this to 4,500. Okay. What's going on, Kevin Hawley? You're from Lexington? That's pretty awesome. Okay. And that should be a little bit better. I went ahead and upped the live stream or the bit rate to 4,500. So my max is 500, 5 meg upload, which sucks. So it's Time Warner Cable. It's whatever. Okay. So first things first, as you guys know, I usually take the time at the beginning of these episodes to basically comb through the YouTube comic book community and to bring to your attention channels that I think wouldn't normally get a chance to be seen, channels that wouldn't normally be viewed by you guys, simply because they're too small, because for whatever reason, you guys just wouldn't see them. Well, Pius is the only one complaining about it being laggy right now, so it might just be him, but anyway. So, what I've done in the description is you'll find a channel down there that I think is worth checking out, that I think is worth taking a look at. A lot of the channels that I get actually come from the Weekly Pull self-promotion portion of the website. And so if you're interested in trying to have your channel featured on here, or I guess, thrown on in the description as a channel to check out, then you'll probably have a lot of luck because of the fact that I'm looking at the Weekly Pull website, or I guess Weekly Pull form, to determine who it is I'm going to throw on here. So, that being said, we're not going to have any spoilers for Age of Ultron. I've spoiled the hell out of Age of Ultron so far. I did a review video. I talked about Thor's hammer. I mean, we went through all that stuff, and so, I don't want to cause any problems. And so, I feel there's no reason to really alienate people who are wanting to watch the Q&A but don't want to have Age of Ultron spoiled for them. So I'm going to be steering away from Age of Ultron based questions. That being said, let's jump into it. What did I think about Secret Wars issue number 0? They had a crossover with Attack on Titan. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't read the Attack on Titan. I wasn't really too interested in it. I was like, I mean, that's probably pretty decent. I think that a lot of people have interest in it, but it's never anything that really struck me so far. In terms of Secret Wars number 0 as a whole, I mean, it's a 0 issue. I mean, there's not really supposed to be anything that happened. I actually talked to God, Faust. I was talking to Faust, and I was like, is it just me, or did like nothing happen in issue number 0? And he was like, well, it's a 0 issue. I mean, and that's pretty much it. Like, Valeria Richards is like, well, we finished Raft, and that's it. That's really all that happens. I mean, it's a free comic, so they're not going to put all the best stuff in a free comic. What did I think about Divergence? I skimmed through it. The problem that I have with Convergence and the Divergence series itself that we're going to be seeing is that it just doesn't really resonate with me. It just doesn't really, stick with me. For whatever reason, I just cannot really get into Convergence. I know that Convergence has its merits. I know that Convergence is popular among a lot of older DC fans. But for me, a lot of the stories that they're giving us just aren't really relevant to me. I really can't get into them. Yeah, just ask your question in the chat. And if if it's, as long as it's not an Age of Ultron spoiler, I'll do my best to answer it. Yeah, like I said, Divergence didn't really strike me as anything, stellar. No, I actually didn't get. I didn't. I don't know if I didn't see it or if they didn't have it, but I didn't get all new, all different Avengers. Was it good? Because I've heard that it was really good. I think Faust said he really, really liked it, and so I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't see it and didn't grab it. I really wanted to get all new, all different Avengers. I thought it would have been cool to check that comic out. Let me know what you guys thought about all new, all different Avengers if you guys have read it, and whether or not you think it's worth getting once it really launches. What's going on, Alexander Virgo from Brooklyn? What's up? What do you like more, Marvel or DC? Well, I think DC is growing on me more. The more I get into New 52, or I guess they're taking a break from it now. They're doing Convergence, but when New 52 was going on before they took a break from it, I really, really, really liked New 52. I liked the stories. I liked the characters. Superman was kind of forgettable just because you really couldn't write a very good story with Superman without him being wildly overpowered. But I mean, I thought Batman was a great character. But Marvel, at the end of the day, I really like Marvel. I saw the Bob's Burgers comics. I thought about getting it. I thought about getting the Bob's Burgers comic, but I was like, probably not. Always wanted to know what your favorite New 52 story is, Rob. Looking to get into New 52, and I trust your opinions. Wow, I would say, well, one, I appreciate you trusting my opinion. And two, I would say pretty much the whole Batman run in New 52 is really, really good. Like, I really enjoy that a lot. Aside from that, I'd say you can kind of do what you want to from there. There really aren't very many stories aside from that one story, or I guess from the run of Batman, that stick with me. It's really more like the characters, like Wonder Woman. I guess Hal Jordan is a Green Lantern. Barry Allen is a Flash. Those are cool concepts, I think. So, have I read Batman? No, I haven't read Endgame number 40 yet. Like I have it, I just haven't read it yet. Always wanted to. Oh, let's see. What would be your reaction if Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and every other hero in the MCU appears in Civil War? I would be ecstatic. I think it would be overload though. Like, that's the danger that I'm worried about with Civil War. Is that's going to be overload. It's going to be too much stuff happening at one time. I hope they avoid that. I hope that they don't go the whole Spider-Man 3 route. But the fact remains that to see all those characters, I think having smaller roles, subtle roles, maybe being mentioned, something like that, I think would be pretty solid. What am I looking forward to most in Secret Wars? X-Men 92. Hands down, I am psyched about X-Men 92. What is your favorite Marvel show? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Definitely Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it was really bad when it first started. Like, when the show first launched, it was pitiful. Like, it just wasn't remotely interesting. I was just kind of like, nah, it's whatever. But then as time progressed, it just got really good. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. So I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is my favorite right now. Daredevil is a close second, but we haven't really seen like enough of the Daredevil series for me to say it's my favorite at the moment. I just really enjoy it. I think it's pretty solid. Let's see. All New, All Different was good. It's hard to tell because it was short. It's basically the Young Avengers, Miss Marvel and Miles, etc. being brought. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense here. Who's your favorite Green Lantern? Hal Jordan. I know a lot of people are like, Kyle Rayner. Kyle Rayner is the best Green Lantern, but I like Hal Jordan. Just joined. Morning, Rob. What's going on, Hungry Yeti? I've seen you here before. What's up, man? Or a girl. I'm not really sure if you're a guy or a girl, but what's up? Let's see. Well, there's so many questions coming in now. Have I ever read JLA Avengers? It was the best DC Marvel crossover. It was pretty solid. I'm not sure I would say the best. I thought, like Marvel versus DC was pretty good, but it depends. Am I related to James Earl Jones? No, unfortunately, I'm not. I wish I was, but no, I'm not. Rob has made me immortal. Do you think there is any way to do Infinity Gauntlet cinematically that would satisfy comic book readers? Well, here's the problem with trying to satisfy comic book readers. They're always going to be split. Like, there's always going to be people who have like one favorite moment in a comic book series, and if it doesn't happen, they're going to be upset. Like, the rest of the movie could be absolutely stellar. Like, the rest of the movie, it could have every single moment they ever wanted except for that one. And they say, well, Adam Warlock didn't do this one thing, or Adam Warlock wasn't in it, or Silver Surfer said this instead of that, or I guess Silver Surfer wouldn't be in it, but you know what I mean. They would say, well, Thanos actually did this instead, and they would just get upset about it. So there's really no way to appease comic book readers. You just got to appease the masses. You got to appease as many people as possible. I think Infinity War will definitely do that. But people are always going to find something to complain about, so there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Which DC show is better to you, Arrow or Flash? Well, before it was Arrow. Originally it was Arrow, but I feel like Arrow now is taking this kind of, I guess, Batman-esque turn. Like, Oliver Queen feels like Bruce Wayne now. And I was talking to Benny about this the other day. And Benny's like, yeah, Oliver Queen is definitely like Bruce Wayne-y. Like, that's exactly how he is now. Like, in the comics, he's funny, he's goofy, he's a hilarious character. But in this, he's like really dark and really serious. And so he's like, they basically just turned Oliver Queen into Bruce Wayne. And I was like, okay, and that's how it feels. And so right now, at this moment, I would go as far as to say, ban Ray. Who's Ray? Okay, yeah, that guy gets... Well, I'm not going to ban him. I'm just going to remove his comment. But for future reference, anybody who does make comments about Age of Ultron, I will just kick you out of the chat. Anyway, I think Flash is my favorite one right now. Like, I really enjoy Flash because for me, it feels like it's really progressed and it's really taken off. But the problem here is I'm thinking they're starting to run into a point where they don't know where to go. Like, the great thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that all the movies are pointing towards Infinity War. All the shows are pointing towards Infinity War. Everything is going that direction. There's an end game. There's a finale to this. Like, that's what they want to do. With Flash and Arrow and the DC shows, there doesn't really seem like there's a point. It seems like they're just cranking out episodes about various topics, but that's kind of it. Like, DC didn't sit down and say, okay, here's the final result we want to achieve. Like, we want to roll all these characters into the Justice League. We want to have a version of the Justice League, different things like that. They haven't really done that. They're just kind of like, here's characters, here's stories, and whatever, and that's it. And it kind of feels disjointed, I think. But I think that for the Flash TV show, I think the one moment everybody was waiting for was when Iris learned Barry Allen's identity. And she learned it, initially before he went back and changed time. And then she learned it again now in the current story. And so, at the moment, I think that's kind of like, okay, people got what they wanted. And I think now they might start to drop off if the stories aren't interesting. But, we'll see what's up. Let's see. Where do you see the MCU going after Avengers 2? That's the question, man. I mean, they're launching the Inhumans between Infinity War 1 and 2. And so we know the Inhumans are going to play a major role in Phase 4. There wouldn't be any reason to introduce them and then kill them all off over the course of a single movie. It wouldn't make any sense. Unless they just wanted to appease fans, but that'd be kind of silly. I think that... I think they'll play a much larger... I think we'll see a lot of what's going on with I guess, like Inhumanity, or I guess right now, the Uncanny Inhumans. I think we'll see a lot of that unfolding in Phase 4, where the Inhumans are going to take a main stage. Because the Inhumans are basically the Marvel Cinematic Universe's license to make any kind of character they want to. All they have to do is, it's like the X-Men. Like the X-Men, it was a license to make superheroes, because all Marvel had to do is they had to say, okay, this person was born with a gene and now it's active, and they can give them whatever power they want to. With the Inhumans, it's the same way. They can say, well, this person was always an Inhuman, they just didn't know. And so suddenly they're exposed to the Terrigen Mist, and now they're a superhero, or they have powers. It's basically the same thing. So, I don't know. Again, I'm not answering questions about Age of Ultron, guys. We're not going to spoil that for people who haven't seen it yet. Would I like to see more space beings in the MCU? Definitely. But I think the great thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far is they've kept it grounded. They've kept it relatively realistic, or as realistic as you can when you have a woman that can control minds, a guy that can run super fast, and a dude that turns into a giant green monster. So take that for what it's worth. But I would say that if we're going to see cosmic entities, we would see them manifested in like a concept. That is to say, like, this is a representation of a cosmic entity. I don't think we're actually going to see Mistress Death show up and talk to Thanos. If we did, it was cool. It'd be really, really awesome. I'd be down with it. Some chick in a cloak. You don't even need to see her face. All you do is just see her cloak, and she's just standing there, and Thanos is talking to her. Like, that would be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'd have to see what's up. Besides A-Force, is there a post-Secret Wars title? I don't know. And here's the thing. The way you guys are thinking about Secret Wars is you got to keep in mind, like, Secret Wars is the universe going forward. Like, that is the multiverse. That's all there's going to be. Like, there's not going to be... It's not as though Secret Wars is going to happen and then everything is going to go back to normal and we're going to get Earth 616 again and we're going to get, you know, the Ultimate Universe again. Like, we'll see those, but they're all going to be combined in one big reality. Like, that's how it's going to be. So, do I think the Vision will replace Adam Warlock in Infinity War? Well, again, I'm not answering questions about Age of Ultron, so we're not going to go into that. If Beta Ray Bill were introduced into the MCU, who would you cast? Well, for the voice, I would cast a deeper voice character. In terms of him, I mean, it would just be... I mean, I'd just make him CGI, but I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting question. Who could play the voice of Beta Ray Bill? Maybe Hugh Laurie would be a good voice for Beta Ray Bill. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's see. All New, All Different Avengers is post Secret Wars. Yeah, that one's coming. Like, that group is going to be after Secret Wars. Like the new Nova Corps, or I guess the Carol Danvers Corps will be after Secret Wars. Like, that stuff will take place. Like, the Thor Corps will be after Secret Wars and so on. Let's see. Do I think the writer should keep an element of a hero intact? Thor's hammer enhancement, Batman parents' death, and make the story after a reboot with that in them, or go crazy and free with new ideas? Well, see, it really kind of depends. They can edit things if they want to, but the entire foundation of why Bruce Wayne became Batman was because his parents died. I mean, that's the basis. If you take that away, there's no reason for him to be Batman. I mean, that was his motivation for undertaking the mantle of becoming, you know, the Dark Knight, you know, becoming Batman, the Caped Crusader, if you will. You know, with Thor, it's the same way. You know, the unique element of Thor's hammer is that no one but the most worthy people can lift it. And so Marvel's very, very picky about who can do it. And fans expect to see that Marvel would be very picky about who would do it. You know, that was a big criticism with the Red Hulk thing. If you guys saw my video on Thor's hammer, that was a big criticism when Jeff Loeb came out and he said, well, the enchantment of Odin doesn't apply because there's no gravity in space, or the gravitational pull of the Earth is not as intense in space as it is on the surface of the Earth. And so Red Hulk can lift the hammer. Like, that was nonsense. And fans were pissed. Fans were like, this is stupid. Like, if this is the case, then all anyone has to do to wield Thor's hammer is fly him into space and then take it from him. There's no point in even having this enchantment anymore. It strips away the value of it. And so, you know, so you really gotta be picky when you're doing stuff like that. If it's something that is a fundamental concept with a character, if it's the motivation for why they became the person they became, I wouldn't always mess around with it. But if it's something whereby it's arbitrary, you know, like Cyclops' optic beams, okay, I mean, change that if you want to. And it's whatever, you know. But in terms of what made a character who they are, it's really hard to change that because then the basis behind that character goes away. So, favorite artist and writer? That's a good one. Favorite writer is definitely Chris Claremont, but I would say Jonathan Hickman's a close second, followed by Mark Waid. In terms of artists, I'd say any of the Quesadas, like, or not Quesadas. Oh my God, who am I thinking of? Well, God, I can't think of his name now. It's the father and son. It's not Quesada. It's God, I can't think of his name now. Somebody remind me of what his name is, but anyway, they were pretty solid. Also, John Byrne is really good. Like, if you ever get a chance, go look at John Byrne's art. Like, he's amazing. What's going on, Brooke Johansson? Let's see. Why do you think they... do I think we will see Red Hulk in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I doubt it. I mean, Marvel's pretty much said that that the Incredible Hulk continuity is at an end. There we go. Ramita. Thank you so much. Yeah, the Ramitas. I kept thinking of Joe Quesada. I don't know why. Yeah, the Ramitas are solid. No, the Incredible Hulk continuity has pretty much been brought to an end. Like that's pretty much where it. Like there's really no, there's nothing coming after that. Jim Lee's also really really good too, but man, everybody's chiming in. The Ramitas, man, the Ramitas. Because of the fact that we're not really going to see any more of the whole Incredible Hulk continuity, I think that seeing Thunderbolt Ross, that's all pretty much over. Marvel's pretty much just phased all that out. And so at this point, it wouldn't make any sense. Like, they would have to make an Incredible Hulk film, they would have to introduce a concept or a reason as to why Thunderbolt Ross becomes the Red Hulk, and then they would have to have the character in there. It would just be unnecessary. I mean, it would confuse fans. People would think it would be kind of silly. It'd be weird. And so I don't really see a reason why they would want to include the Red Hulk in there. I think it'd be cool if they introduced the Red Hulk, but I think one Incredible Hulk's enough. I don't think we need two. So, have I read Grayson? No, I actually haven't read Grayson at all. Let's see. How many characters that you know of are carbon copies of Superman in Power Set at least? Okay, well in Marvel you got Gladiator from the Shi'ar Empire, you got Hyperion, you have Sentry, you have Blue Marvel to a degree, except he can't shoot lasers out of his eyes, I don't think. You probably got a handful of other characters that I can't remember off the top of my head. And then DC, of course, you have other characters along those lines. I mean, you got Martian Manhunter, you got Shazam, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Marvel has several characters that are basically carbon copies of Superman. I was a little disappointed that. Okay, I don't know what you mean. You hate Spider-Man, but do you respect him as a character? No, I don't hate Spider-Man. The problem is the Spider-Man stories. Like Spider-Man stories just aren't really that well written. I don't think. I don't think they're all that great. And I think Spider-Man's like the Fantastic Four. See, back in the day, the Fantastic Four were very relevant in the 1960s because if Marvel wanted to introduce a character or a team and to see how it tested with audiences, they introduced it to the Fantastic Four because everybody was reading the Fantastic Four. I mean, everybody was reading it. I mean, that was it. Like, that's how new characters were introduced. And so as time progressed, characters that became more popular ended up, becoming their own thing and ended up developing their own thing. But, nonetheless, Spider-Man was the same way. Spider-Man was like, oh my God, teenagers are cool in comic books now. Well, okay, what relevance, like what does Spider-Man bring to the table now? Like, he doesn't bring anything to the table now. Spider-Man doesn't bring anything unique to the table. He's just another costume superhero who's a teenager or was a teenager and now he's older. And that's it. Like, he's like everybody else now. And so I don't really dig Spider-Man. I don't really get into him that much. He's kind of funny, but there's a lot of funny people in Marvel Comics. And so there's really nothing that sets him apart. And so, I never really got into him. But, I wouldn't say that I hate the character. I would just say that, I mean, it's just not a big fan of the way he's written. Why back in the day did I choose Marvel over DC Comics? Because Marvel was how I got into comics. I was watching X-Men the animated series. That's what got me into it. And then my dad introduced me to a couple of DC comics, but I always liked the Marvel Cinematic Universe more, or I guess the X-Men the animated series more. And so I was so enamored that I immediately jumped into it, and I started like reading up on all these different Marvel characters, like Nimrod. Nimrod was a great character from back in the day. Like, he was hilarious. He was a great character. He was awesome the way he was designed. But I don't know. I mean, for me, it was just Marvel was where I got started. And that'll always have a special place in my heart of hearts. I'm not sure which side my heart's on, but whatever side it's on, it has a special place in there. So, and let's see. Yeah, he pays rent, he works, and he has a sick aunt. I guess. Yeah, I read Secret Wars #0, and it was pretty decent. And okay, so that reminds me. While you guys are here, let's take a minute to talk about incursions. Let's take a minute to talk about New Avengers 33 and Avengers number 44. I think it was. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact like numbering. So, a lot happens, and in fact, all the questions that you guys want answered get answered here. And so we're basically going to be throwing this into Time Runs Out Part 3. Like, Time Runs Out Part 3, maybe we'll have a 4, but I think Time Runs Out Part 3 will pretty much conclude everything. I mean, we know that Doctor Doom was the one who started the incursions. We know that Molecule Man is the reason for the destruction of the alternate universe, or that one universe that caused the incursions. We know that the Beyonders were performing some grand experiment, and then Doctor Doom started screwing it up. These are the kind of things that we know. And so, again, this will all be explained. And so I'm hoping that by the time that video ends, that you guys will have a perfect understanding of how incursions, like how it all started, what it all means, how it all got together, all that good stuff. Yeah, Nimrod was crazy. Okay, so you had Sentinels in the Marvel comics. I mean, they were a long-standing enemy of the X-Men, and you had all different aspects of Sentinels. You had some Sentinels that were composed of plastics. You had some Sentinels that were composed of metals. You had some Sentinels that were small, some that were huge. You had all different kinds of Sentinels. Nimrod was the ultimate Sentinel. Nimrod could basically grow to any size. Nimrod could, I guess, sense the fears of other people. Nimrod could create force fields. Nimrod could reflect the powers of other people. Nimrod was designed to basically adapt into the person that he was fighting against. And eventually that ended, like Nimrod actually merged with Master Mold, I think, and he became Bastion, but I can't remember off the top of my head. That's way back in the 1990s, but nonetheless, let's see. What do I think about Ra's al Ghul, Arc, and Arrow is going? I think it's interesting, but I think that they really just kind of threw Stephen Amell in that role, or in that position, for a couple of reasons. One, because he's filming something. Like, he's going to start making a movie. I can't remember what movie it is that he's doing, but he's doing something separate. And then I think they just kind of were trying to figure out where to go from there. I think that this will give them a chance to basically sort of decide what they're going to do with Green Arrow's character. But for right now, it's just kind of up in the air, But I enjoy it. I mean, it's reason enough for me to keep watching it, so. Yes, getting comic books is an expensive hobby, but fortunately I can write it off on my taxes, so as a business expense, so it's not that bad of an idea. Let's see. Has it ever been established for a Marvel hero that was exposed to the Terrigen Mist and then gained additional powers because of it? Yes, that was the Beyonder. That was the Beyonder retcon. The Beyonder retcon was that he was a mutant who was also who had an inhuman gene, and when he was exposed to the Terrigen Mist, he became this super ridiculous character. Yes, Casey Jones, that's what it is. He became this like stupidly overpowered character. So, will the MCU still be successful after Phase 3? Definitely. I don't see any reason why they'll lose success. I mean, they'll be awesome. Do I think they will make Peter Quill related to Adam Warlock? I hope not, but they might. I mean, that seems to be the popular theory. A lot of people seem to believe that. Okay, Brian Kachina says he's shaking his head because I didn't know that it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Why would I care about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a movie? Like, those movies haven't been relevant since the 1990s. Just saying, bro. Anyway, so, oh, Cody Young, happy birthday to your mom. She loves my videos. Well, tell your mom I said happy birthday. What was I saying? I don't remember what I was talking about now. Somebody remind me what I was talking about. I forgot. See, this is why I need coffee this early in the morning. So. Oh, no, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about something else. Can I please stop saying peace? Nope. That's going to be there from now until the end of time. And the next time you post a crappy comment on one of my videos telling me to stop doing it, I'm going to ban you from my channel. So that's that. Which universe city will win in DC Convergence? I don't know. I mean, because what I've done is I've really just kind of stopped reading Convergence. I mean, like, Convergence just never really stuck with me. I mean, okay, that Wings of Oblivion guy has asked 3 times, and so if Wings of Oblivion has a problem with what I say in my videos, then I'll make it so that he can't see my videos. There we go. Problem solved. Okay. I am vaping on something called, I'm actually running out of it, but it's called Maple Mountain Breakfast, which is basically pancakes, butter, and maple syrup. It's actually pretty damn good. But anyway, God, I'm so lost in thought. Peace. I think that, yeah. So Convergence. So I really just kind of stopped reading Convergence. It never really tied into me. But I would say of the universes that I had seen so far, if I had to pick one, I would say, I would love to see like Kingdom Come win because I love the Kingdom Come universe. For those of you guys that never saw it, the Kingdom Come universe was so good. Like it was such a good story. That Kingdom Come was a great story of the idea that there comes a point and there has to come a point in time of like the entire DC continuity whereby somebody is going to have to step in and say the way these superheroes are doing things isn't going to work. Here was the basis behind Kingdom Come. What happened in Kingdom Come was the Joker, if I remember correctly, the Joker had killed everybody at the Daily Planet, and so when he was put on trial, he was executed by a rogue superhero, and the result was that society like favored the fact that this rogue superhero had killed the Joker. And so Superman just kind of became like depressed and he left. He stopped being Superman. Hal Jordan took to space, just kind of waiting to see if a threat would ever show up to Earth, and it never did. Wonder Woman and a handful of other superheroes were trying to stop things. Like Batman had his own group. It was like a vigilante society, is how things worked. These rogue groups of superheroes would fight each other, and they would like destroy cities, and they would wreck things, and people would just be like, "Oh my God, we got more than we bargained for, but there's nothing we can do to stop it now." And eventually, Superman shows up, and it leads to this great big huge conflict, and things go nuts. But yeah, Kingdom Come was such a good story. Kingdom Come is probably one of the best stories that DC's put out in a long time, and I mean that like sincerely. It's one of the best stories they put out in a long time. I would say Superman Red Sun is almost as good as Kingdom Come, but it was a really cool circumstance. But that version of the superheroes, I think, could probably hold their own, and I think they'd be able to stand toe to toe with pretty much anybody else. At least I would hope they would come out on top. Yeah, it was very similar to Civil War. Yeah, there you go. Ben Johan says it was very similar to Civil War. I should do a guest spot on Back Issues explaining the Crooked World storyline to those guys. It should be fun. That would be hilarious. Explain the Crooked World. I mean, it would take me we'd have to have like 5 or 6 different. No, Crooked World spanned over the course of. Well, I mean, let's see. You had the Mighty World of Marvel. No, you didn't. Well, I think it's covered in the Mighty World of Marvel now, but you had Captain Britain. It was like 5 or 6 issues. You had the Daredevils over the course of like 2 or 3 issues in that story, and then I think it concluded in the Mighty World of Marvel, which it covered like 4 or 5 comics, and so it's about like 10 to 15 comics. I think the whole Crooked World storyline lasted, but it might not necessarily be that long. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the Crooked World was fucking amazing. Like Crooked World was so good. There's a guy who's nuts, but he has the ability to warp reality. Like imagine that circumstance. So I'm saying that Mark Waid is better than Mark Miller slightly. Slightly. I mean, Mark Miller's got Red Sun and Civil War. So, but Mark Waid's also got the Fantastic Four run plus Kingdom Come. So, yeah, I don't know. They're both pretty solid. Let's see. Will Secret Wars kill the Fantastic Four? Actually, the Fantastic Four are already kind of dying off. Marvel launched a series called The End is Forever, which was poorly written and it's absolute garbage. I would not suggest buying it, but it is. It basically it's getting rid of the Fantastic Four. It's killing them off, and so it's decent enough. But that's pretty much how they're going away. That Wings of Oblivion is back. Well, thought I blocked that guy. Well, we'll just keep blocking him. Or I'll just add him to my list of people who are banned from the channel entirely. I think banning people in the chat makes it so they can't show up to the chat. But then I could turn around and ban them from the channel. Hold on a second. Give me a second, guys. Channel. I'm going to go out of my way to ban this guy. Community settings. Banned users. Oh, I can't add him to that list. Well, I'll just go to one of my videos and just ban him that way. Uh, I'm sorry, guys. Bear with me for 1 second. Where was that video at? Well, I'll do it later. But yeah. So, um, let's see. Yeah, he's also written for The Flash and Daredevil. Like that was pretty solid. Um, Evening, Rob. What do you think of the Big Hero 6 movie, and will they ever make the comics again? Well, see, Big Hero 6 was so it was Big Hero 6 was in the comics it was so short. Like it was so small. I didn't even really I didn't really understand why. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that like try to troll on my channel. There were a lot of people who were trying to spoil Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. And so I made a post in one of my videos. I was like, anybody who tries to spoil Avengers 2 Age of Ultron will be banned, no questions asked. And I was like, this is your only warning. But and nonetheless, Big Hero 6 was like such a small group of people. Like it didn't really seem like it needed to even happen. Like it needed like they didn't even I was surprised they made a movie. I didn't understand it. In if they made Big Hero 6 into the comics, then they would have to basically adapt the movie into the comic books, because the problem is if during Secret Wars they said, okay, we're doing Big Hero 6, and they used the original team, they used Silver Samurai and those guys, it would confuse the hell out of like people who would come to read the comics. They would say, why is this team different than the one in the movie? Because as far as they're concerned, that's the only Big Hero 6. They don't know about the old team. They don't know that the movie's based off the name of an old team and that this comic is the return of that old team. They don't know that. And so it would confuse people. Let's see. Do I feel a sort of disdain against the casual comics fans that got introduced with the movies now that comics are pretty much the king of media? Not at all. I actually think it's a really good thing. I think that the movies have really, really, really brought in a lot of people. I think that a lot of fans of comics now started with like Iron Man. Like I think Iron Man 1 really kicked it all off. A lot of fans said, wow, like Iron Man's cool. And so they're like, I wonder what Iron Man's like in the comics or something like that. And they went to go buy Iron Man comics, when Captain America, the first Avenger, the Avengers film, things like that. I think it brought in a lot of people, even if they're only casual and even if they only buy 3 or 4 or 5 comics and then stop. The fact is that they're getting into comics. And I think that's a fantastic thing. I think that how big is my glass? It's that big, not too big. I think it's an awesome thing. I think that the more people get into comics, the more the community grows, and the more the community grows, the better it is. So I think that's a great thing. You are those comics behind real or poster? Those are artistic renderings. I actually got those at Bed Bath and Beyond. So let's see. Can you go into what happened in Secret Wars #0? Couldn't get it yesterday. Nothing really happened. I mean, all that happened is Valeria Richards was like, we built rafts. Like the Future Foundation kids, like the group that Reed Richards put together, as the future of science in the world. They were like, we built a raft, and that's it. Like a multiversal raft. That's the only thing that happened. You really didn't miss anything at all. So you're fine. I'm one of the guys that came back to comics because of the movies, and yes, Iron Man was the one which hit me. See, I figured that would be the case for a lot of people. Yes, I visited my local comic book store yesterday. As a matter of fact, hold on 1 second, guys. I'm gonna grab some coffee, and then I'm also gonna show you guys the comics that I got. So, bear with me for 1 second. Okay. All right. So, of course, I got Divergence. Divergence was pretty decent. You know, it was. I mean, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't anything that stuck with me as well. If I suck, then you can just be gone. There we go. And we'll remove his comment. Okay. Rob Missing explained. Okay, yeah, Divergence was decent enough. It wasn't anything stellar. It was just kind of like, yeah, it's whatever. Secret Wars previews was cool. Like, I liked Secret Wars previews because it gave us a rundown. It gave us an idea of what all the universes were going to look like. We'll get more on this during, like, the, Secret Wars #2. But here was the cool thing. Like, Deadpool's Secret War was featured in this. Hold on a second. I don't know how many of you guys got this, but Deadpool's, where is it? There we go. Deadpool's Secret War. Like, that I'm excited about. And he just shows up in the middle of Secret Wars 1984. Like, the original Secret Wars event. Like, he shows up. And so I'm psyched. Like, that's going to be funny, I think. Yeah, previews could have used more words. I got Ultron Forever, and this I was actually really, really excited for. Ultron Forever, like if you guys remember our video where we talked about when Captain America went into the future, and how he came across that one society or that one point in the future where Ultron was, where he was like the Allfather, he had taken over Asgard and the planet Earth. Like this story tells us how that happened, and so I'm really, really excited. Let's see. Yeah, and then Secret Wars #0. We talked about that. It was decent enough. And then I got Squadron Supreme #6, and so I was pretty psyched. I was like, oh my god, like this is pretty amazing. So, okay. What movies do I think the last two Infinity Gems will be in? Well, I would say the Space Gem. I'm sorry, not the Space Gem. The Soul Gem is probably in possession of Adam Warlock. That one I would say we'll probably see in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The Time Gem, I'd like to see in possession of Doctor Strange. Like, I would love to see that Doctor Strange would be the one that actually has the Time Gem. But I don't know. I mean, that's just really kind of up in the air. So, let's see. Do I think that the time is right with the inclusion of Falcon and Luke Cage in the MCU for a version of Isaiah Bradley? I don't know. Like, that is a good question. I think so. I mean, I don't see any reason why not. I mean, they're expanding the roster of African American superheroes. God, I don't know. I mean, I would say that would be good, though. Thor Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I don't know if it'll be in Thor Ragnarok. I buy my comics at either A Plus Comics or Heroes Realm. Has Time Runs Out ended? Yes. Time Runs Out has ended. Franklin Richards, the strongest mutant, or is Jean Grey? Also, who would win? Who would you say, Juggernaut or Hulk? Franklin Richards is way beyond anything Jean Grey can do, and I would say the Juggernaut would probably take out the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was only able to beat Juggernaut once, and that was when his powers were augmented by Apocalypse. But like there was one point in the comics when Thor threw his hammer at the Juggernaut and it bounced off of him, and then when Thor like it literally like hit him and bounced off, and like the Juggernaut didn't even like, he was just kind of like standing there like nothing happened, didn't phase him or anything. And then when Thor recalled the hammer back to him, the Juggernaut grabbed it and rode the hammer back to Thor. So that was a really cool that was a really cool moment. Let's see. With the popularity in the movies, do you think the MCU will change the timelines? No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't see any reason why. I mean, it seemed like it would be kind of silly to do that. A while ago, you said you were back in the gym. How's that going? It's going good. Like, I feel really good all the time. Like, I'm just eating steak and eggs almost all the time now, and I feel freaking amazing. Except I'm drinking coffee right now, which I probably shouldn't be, but, you know. Am I going to explain how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Age of Ultron are all connected? There's really not a whole lot to explain. I mean, Reyna from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she can see the future, basically. She's like a clairvoyant, and she saw that Ultron was going to attack the planet Earth. And that was really it. So, Which do I like most, Arrow, Gotham, or Flash? At this moment, right now, Flash, definitely. But I haven't finished all of Gotham yet, so we'll see we'll see what happens as time progresses. What crossover books are my favorite? Probably Marvel versus DC. The premise behind the story was dumb, but the fact that they were fighting was really cool. So I really dug that. It was the first major one. So do I think the Infinity Gems are equal to the Lantern Rings? Not really. The Infinity Gems are best. I mean, if you're going to compare them to the Lantern Rings, think of the Infinity Gems as each one like representing what a Lantern Ring is capable of. And so, while the Lantern Ring is certainly not an Infinity Gauntlet itself, if a person has the Mind Gem, they can't warp reality. If a person has the Soul Gem, they can't control minds. Different things like that. So it's kind of hard to compare the two. A person, one of the Green Lanterns can do a lot. I mean, they can open portals, they can, travel anywhere through the universe. They can travel anywhere from one point of the universe to another by traveling through a portal. They, can basically use their imagination to create anything. I mean, they can do all kinds of things, but they can't warp the very fabric of reality. Like, a Green Lantern can't turn the planet Earth into a giant golf ball. Like, they can't do that. So, it's kind of difficult to compare the two. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Ramsel Timble, I guess is how you pronounce it. Is Age of Ultron worth it? Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you anything about it, but it's definitely worth it. What DC have you read and enjoyed other than Batman? Justice League was okay. Justice League was relatively interesting. But again, there haven't really been a whole lot of DC stories that have stuck with me, to be honest. They just don't really resonate with me. I mean, I just don't, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of those things. A lot of the DC stuff that I cover, or that I covered before we started Secret Wars, or I guess Time Runs Out, was for you guys. I mean, that was really it. So, any chance of an Old Man Logan video in the future? It depends on what they do with Secret Wars. If they retell Old Man Logan, then we'll do that. If they continue the Old Man Logan, then I would say, yeah, then we'll probably do an Old Man Logan video and then just pick up with Secret Wars where Old Man Logan leaves off. I'm not 100% sure. And that's what we'll do with all those things, with all the stories. If Secret Wars takes Future Imperfect and they continue with a Future Imperfect universe, then we'll do a video on Future Imperfect. If they take Planet Hulk and they continue the Planet Hulk universe, then we'll do a video about Planet Hulk. If they redo Planet Hulk, if they rewrite it, then we'll do a video about the rewrite, because what that will do is it'll cancel out the original story. And so there won't be any reason to do the original story because it won't matter anymore. Let's see. Who would win in an archery contest, Green Arrow or Hawkeye? I'd say it'd probably be a split. I think they'd probably break even. I mean, I don't know though. So you guys ask difficult questions when you guys ask stuff like that. I mean, it would be, God, I don't know. I would say probably, damn, I don't know. I'd say probably Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye could beat out Green Arrow. Yes, I'm very excited for Daredevil season 2. Like I'm really psyched for it. Show us your comic collection. You guys want to see my comic book collection? We'll do that when I do a setup video. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a setup video or not, but if I ever do a setup video, then I'll definitely do it. Answer your question. Well, that guy's throwing a tantrum. Here you go. I will answer your question with a ban. There we go. The answer to your question is BAN. There you go. That is the answer to your question. The guy called me a fatty. Like, ban the shit out of that guy. Do you know any of the DC Marvel characters? The DC merge? I'm not sure what you mean. Yes. When Secret Wars is done, do you think that Marvel will change all characters that are mutants into Inhumans? Oh, definitely. Well, see, here's the thing, though. Like, what Marvel said they're doing with the mutants, with the X-Men, is that they are taking the X-Men and they're putting them into their own separate universe. Like, they're going to be totally isolated and away from everything else. And so, I mean, I see what Marvel, I think what Marvel's going to do is they're going to take the Marvel Cinematic Universe and they're going to take the Inhumans in the comics and they're gradually going to replace what would normally be the X-Men, but the X-Men are still going to exist in the comics. I just think that the Inhumans are going to be made to play a major role. And we know that's happening because of Uncanny Inhumans. The Inhumans roster is expanding like wildfire. What you guys see playing out right now in Uncanny Inhumans, this was Marvel in the 1980s and 1990s, or the X-Men rather, in the 1980s and 1990s. That's exactly what's happening right now. So, oh, he's talking about amalgams. Oh, okay. And he's coming to get you. Don't use caps, guys. What's the concept of time runs out? Please answer. Okay. So here's the deal with the incursions. Here's what Marvel did. All right, this is what they explained in New Avengers 33 and 44. And I'll give this to you guys, and then I'll do a video on it separate. What they said was this. The Beyonders' grand experiment was to basically kill the Molecule Man. What Marvel said was this. In all these different realities, like in one reality, Doctor Doom may be like a priest, just arbitrarily. They didn't tell us that, but just as an example, Doctor Doom might be a priest. In another reality, Doctor Doom might be an Avenger, all that different kind of stuff. You know, Doctor Doom in one reality may not have any powers. In one reality, he may have gained his powers a separate way. With Molecule Man, it's not that way. Owen Reese gained his powers in every reality the exact same way. It was an experiment that went wrong. It's always the same. Like, he never ever changes. His life experience up to the point where he gained his powers is always the exact same. And it was made that way by the Beyonders. The Beyonders made Molecule Man and then put him in every reality with his origin story being the exact same in every reality. The goal of the Beyonders was to basically kill the Molecule Man simultaneously in every reality, and it would just blow up the multiverse. That would be the result. But what had happened was Doctor Doom and Molecule Man had basically tried to travel back to the source point of when the incursions first happened. And what they learned is that this is the plan of the Beyonders. This is what the Beyonders wanted to do. And so the result is that Doctor Doom basically goes on a campaign at the behest of Molecule Man to kill all the other versions of Molecule Man. The first one that he kills results in the destruction of that Earth and that universe, which kicks off the incursions. That's what starts the incursions happening. Now, while that's happening, while that's taking place, like Doctor Doom is basically going through and killing all these different versions of Molecule Man. It's not until the incursions event officially starts in Marvel Comics that the Beyonders realize something's going on. The Beyonders realize that all their different versions, or all the Molecule Man and the multiverse, are being killed off. And so that's when we see the map makers. That's when we see the entire incursion event start. And all this comes to a head at the end of New Avengers number 33, when Doctor Doom goes against the Beyonders, when he tries to destroy the Beyonders and fails. And the result is that while he's destroyed, that where previously there were hundreds of thousands of universes, now there's like a dozen. Like, all those universes have been eradicated. That was the basis behind New Avengers number 33. So that's what we'll explain in Time Runs Out Part 3. That's what we'll talk about. So anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much where things stand at the moment. Have I ever bought a comic and hated it so much that you wanted to burn it? And have you ever bought a comic and loved it so much that you wanted to marry it? Yes. I've bought a comic that I've immediately wanted to burn. Like, I bought a comic once that I hated so much that I wanted to burn it. And that was this comic. I'm kidding. I've never really bought a comic that I hated so much that I wanted to burn it. You know, I mean, I'll keep it for the sake of having it, because I think that, you know, it's just kind of cool to have. But I would say that one story that I bought that I loved so much that I wanted to marry it was probably God Loves, Man Kills. That's probably one of the best stories ever written involving the X-Men. Standalone, or hands down, one of the best stories of all time. So I was really, really psyched when I got that. I was like, oh snap. A Hawkeye Netflix show would be amazing. Do you think it was planned that the alternate names of the Infinity Gems spell Thanos? What? The alternate names of the Infinity Gems spell Thanos. How does that work? The Space Gem, the Ether. I mean, I don't understand the Orb. How does it spell? Okay, hold on. Hold on a second. Now, wait a minute. How does that work? there's no way that's true. No, that's not. I mean, hold on. No, I'm gonna look that up. What about Marvel writing the Star Wars comics? Oh, I'm really excited about Marvel writing the Star Wars comics. Like, I'm pretty psyched about that. The Orb and the Scepter. Holy shit! Holy shit! Man, you guys are amazing. Like, you guys are awesome. Oh, I didn't know. I never noticed. I never thought about that before. Oh man, the Orb and the Scepter. Wow, mind blown. Oh my god, like that's amazing. If you're trolling, that's one of the greatest trolls in the history of the universe. Like that's one of the best trolls ever. Thoughts about Batman Zero Year? I thought it would have been amazing. Take for cinema or animated. I loved Batman Zero Year. I thought Batman Zero Year was a great story to tell us how it was Bruce Wayne became Batman. There were a couple points where I was kind of like, okay, let's move this on a little bit. But overall, it was a great story, extremely well written. I really enjoyed it. But like I said, I mean, you know, with Scott Snyder's run on Batman, he's been absolutely amazing. So I'm not at all surprised that Batman Zero Year was a good story. I would say that following Batman Zero Year, you know, when we got a little more in depth and we got into like the Riddler stuff like that, I didn't really care for that too much. But I definitely enjoyed the story of the Red Hood. Like that was really really cool. Best reaction ever. Troll theories explained. Why do you guys want everything explained? It amazes me. Let's see. Language. Are you a fan of any manga? Dragon Ball Z, which by the way, we're getting Dragon Ball Z back. Dragon Ball Z is coming back in July with new episodes that cancel out Dragon Ball GT and pick up with Dragon Ball Z. I am so psyched. Who else is excited? If you're excited, give me a hell yeah. Like if you're excited about the new Dragon Ball Z, give me a hell yeah, because I'm really, really excited. Have you read any of Deadpool's old books? If so, who are your favorite writers, excluding the Dugan? Okay, well, Joe Kelly is really considered to be the godfather of the modern day Deadpool, the one that really had Deadpool break the fourth wall. But a lot of his videos or a lot of his comics are still pretty serious. A lot of his comics are still they kind of combine the old school Rob Liefeld Deadpool with his current idea of Deadpool, but he was really Christopher Priest. They gave us like the goofy, out there, crazy Deadpool. So I would say, if you want to read some old Deadpool stories, go with Joe Kelly, go with Christopher Priest, go with Gail Simone, go with. Actually, really, after that, it's just kind of up in the air on what you want to read. Deadpool was really just kind of eh. I mean, after that, it just breaks down into original graphic novels, or I guess into independent stories that are interesting. So, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, or I guess the Deadpool Trilogy. So, Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe, the Deadpool Killustrated, and Deadpool kills Deadpool. And then there's also Deadpool Merc with a Mouth, which is a must-read for any Deadpool fan. But aside from that, it's really just kind of up to you. You know, it's really just kind of your call. So, did I hear that the Absorbing Man made an appearance in Daredevil? He had a cameo where he was mentioned, but I don't think he actually appeared in the show. If he did, it was just in a boxing match, but that was it. Thanos without the Infinity Gauntlet versus the Hulk, who would win? Thanos would beat the hell out of the Hulk right off the bat. He would defeat the Hulk before the Hulk could get angry enough to oppose Thanos. Is what would happen. Let's see. How did you like Daredevil Netflix series? I loved it. It was amazing. I felt like, in truth, it should have been like the Kingpin Netflix series, but the Daredevil Netflix series was really really solid. I really enjoyed it. I heard they changed Reed Richards' power in the Fantastic Four movie. I don't know. I've been staying away from spoilers about the Fantastic Four movie. I've been trying not to get too into it. I want to go into it with like a clean slate. You know, not really knowing what to expect. I know it'll be based on the Ultimate Fantastic Four, but aside from that, I don't know what else we're going to see. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens. That being said, I'm going into it with my experiences in the previous Fantastic Four films and Fox films overall, which means that they're probably going to screw it up, but we don't know. Do I think Scott Lang could be Giant Man in the movie, knowing that he doesn't grow in the comics? Sure, he could. I mean, fans would be angry, like comic fans would be angry, but again, like the vocal minority, basically. But I have a feeling they're just going to leave him as only being able to be small. I don't think they're going to make him a character who's going to grow large. Did I like Marvel The End? Well, there were different The Ends. There was like X-Men The End, Fantastic Four The End, but I assume you're talking about the one where Thanos captures the heart of the universe and he destroys all things in existence. Yes, that was a great story. Let's see. Best animated movies, DC and Marvel. Doctor Strange is really good. Avengers: Heroes of Tomorrow, I think it is. The Kids of the Kids of the Avengers was really good. With DC, I mean, shit, everything. Like, everything was good with DC. Flashpoint was amazing. Flashpoint was a really good animated movie. I think, what was it? Shazam! Black Adam was really good. There were a litany of really, really good movies that came out of DC. So, will you do Dragon Ball Z Explained? Probably not. I mean, I think we all grew up with it enough that we know what's going on with it. But will Fury talk to Ant-Man? I don't know. I think that Paul Rudd said that he's doing his best to try to get Ant-Man to be incorporated more into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because I think what a lot of fans are afraid of is that Ant-Man will be like the Incredible Hulk, where the movie will come out, but it won't tie into the animated series. Like, that'll be it. Like, it won't really, or I guess not the animated series, it won't tie into the rest of the MCU. I don't know. I think that Paul Rudd said he's also trying to get Ant-Man into Infinity War, so I don't know. How long do I think the MCU will exist? As long as there's popularity for it, and looking the way things are going right now, that popularity is not going anywhere anytime soon. Like, it's going to stay popular for a long time. So I think we'll see the MCU for quite a while. Thanos Rising Explained. I actually covered that for the most part during our video about Deadpool, Thanos, and Mistress Death. So, Kevin Feige once said in an interview, every Phase 2 film, some loses an arm, as reference to Empire Strikes Back. What do you think about that? It's interesting. Does Fox own all the mutants? Yes, Fox owns all characters related to the X-Men properties, meaning that mutants belong to Fox. Will you do a video about Thanos' story about him and the Heart of the Universe? I may or may not. I mean, it doesn't really seem like we should. It doesn't really seem to be a reason to do Heart of the Universe right now, but I mean, I may or may not. I mean, we'll see what's up. Can you please stop saying? Well, now I got to ban that guy too. Block user. I might just ban that guy's IP address. Let's see. Will Franklin Richards ever appear again? I mean, maybe. But see, that's the question. A lot of fans love Franklin Richards. So here's the question. If Marvel gets rid of the Fantastic Four, are they going to get rid of Johnny Storm, Susan Storm, Ben Grimm, and Reed Richards, and then keep like Franklin and Valeria, or just get rid of them all? Like, I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. So I guess we'll find out. But would you like to see, what would I like to see in Phase 4 of the MCU? Definitely Civil War. Like, I would love to see Civil War stretch the entire Phase 4 of Marvel Comics, or of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I doubt we'll see that. Do you have any signed comics? Yes, I have, X-Men, X-Men Volume 1, issue number 2, no. Yeah, issue number 2, signed by Stan Lee. Who is Hyperion? Hyperion is basically Marvel's version of Superman. Overall, was Phase 2 a success? Definitely. Phase 2 was a resounding success. They were a great series of movies. Isn't the Human Torch going to be in the Inhumans? Well, that's the question. Are they going to keep him? Or are they just going to kill him off and just say the heck with it? Can I say peace more? I will definitely say peace more. Let's see. As long as they keep Franklin and Valeria, the others can go away. Do I bleed? Yes, I definitely bleed. What's going on, Ariel Cruz? I miss Free Comic Book Day. Can I still get a free comic? Probably not. Fred Bucket, greetings from the Philippines. Well, hello from the Philippines, or from the States, rather, to the Philippines. Do I think Sentry will come back? I hope so, but the problem is that, see, the reason why a lot of fans hated the Sentry is because he was cool in his solo series, or I guess as an introduction, but then once he was thrown into do Avengers, it just kind of went downhill after that, and people were just like, meh, it was kind of crap. No, I probably won't do a video on Annihilation Conquest. There's no reason to at this point. Who is my favorite Hulk villain? Yours is the Red Hulk. Yeah, I'd say the Red Hulk's probably pretty solid. The leader was really good. I don't know. See, the Incredible Hulk's road gallery is relatively limited. I'd say my favorite villain of the Incredible Hulk is the Incredible Hulk himself. No, I don't know. Please answer. Do you think the new Marvel continuity... Oops. Do I think the new Marvel continuity will be in phases post-Secret Wars? If so, what are your thoughts? Thanks. No, I think they're all just coming out at one time. I mean, I think they're all just like, here's everything going on. It was interesting because Marvel actually had a Q&A session where they were doing a live question and answer about Secret Wars. And I asked the question, are you guys going to be releasing all the comics in phases like DC's doing with Convergence? Or all the number ones going to come out followed by all the number twos? Or are you going to release like the stories at once? So you're going to have like X-Men 92 that comes out at once. And then you're going to have, Swan that comes out at once. And they didn't answer. So I don't know. Let's see. Will you do Axis, or should I even read it? No, you don't need to. You don't need to read Axis. Axis tells you why Tony Stark becomes superior Iron Man, but it doesn't matter. Like the fact that he's superior Iron Man's irrelevant because in the Incursions event, and time runs out, he reverts back to his normal self. So there's no point. Axis was a filler event. Axis was just something to be thrown in there to kill time while they were doing time runs out. Like that was really it. Like there's no reason for Axis. Yeah, it's really, that's why we haven't done a video on it yet, is because to me there's no real reason to read it. Do I play Marvel Heroes 2015? No, I haven't played it yet. Would you guys be interested? Okay. Would you guys be interested in playing Marvel Heroes with me if I live streamed on Twitch? Like, let me know. Good morning, Samuel Montoya. What Avenger Justice League member are you from all the comic book channels? Oh, I'm definitely Nick Fury. I'm the one pulling the strings. No, not at all. I'd like to say I'm the Watcher. Like, I think it'd be cool to be the Watcher, but I don't know. I mean, you guys decide. You guys decide which version of which Avenger am I from the comic books? Can I explain what happened to Thor Odinson's left arm? Yes. When Thor first lost the ability to wield his hammer, the Frost Giants invaded the planet Earth, and when they did, like, he went to fight them, and in the process, his arm was literally cut off, and that's how he lost it. That's it. So that's and what he did is he basically took like the arm of the Destroyer and attached it to where his stub was, and so now he has an arm, and that's pretty much it. You're playing Marvel Heroes right now? I've never played Marvel Heroes, so you know what? We might live stream Marvel Heroes later tonight. I might go ahead and get it on Steam, and we might play it later tonight. We'll see what's up. Amadeus Cho. Fun fact: Helen Cho is the mother of Amadeus Cho. Take that for what it's worth. You think I'm Amadeus Cho? That's funny to me. I never consider myself to be Asian, but that's whatever. Agent Sitwell. Do you think Adam Warlock has a bit of Napoleon complex and a false hero? I don't think so. I think he genuinely believes that what he's doing is right. The problem with Adam Warlock is that he's just so far removed from like what the value of life is that he just can't really function correctly. That's really just kind of the problem with this character. Can I recommend any, websites that sell comics internationally? Just go to Marvel Unlimited. And if you're looking to get into DC, just go to Comixology. That's really all you need. Which comic was free that I picked up yesterday? Well, we went over those earlier, but I got Divergence I bought Squadron Supreme number 6, Secret Wars, Avengers Forever, or I guess Ultron Forever, and then the Secret Wars preview. So, have I ever been to Singapore? No, I've never been to Singapore before. After Secret Wars, do they think they'll have more than one Age of Ultron version of multiple hero AU version? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. Sidorak is not really a cosmic entity. He's like a being from a different dimension, but he has the ability to bestow people with his power, making them invincible. So, Juggernaut has the Crimson Gem of Sidorak, which makes him invincible. Doctor Strange has the Crimson Bands of Sidorak that are virtually unbreakable. I mean, he's just basically like an entity from a different dimension. So, do I think Iron Man will survive Secret Wars from Earth 616? Definitely. I think he'll definitely survive. Let's see. Do you sense a slight attraction between Scarlet Witch and Vision in Age of Ultron? We're not going to go into that. Do you think we will see the Kree Skrull War in the MCU? I doubt it. I don't think Marvel has the rights to. Oh no, they have the Kree and the Skrulls. I think. I don't know. I mean, it'd be cool if they did that in Phase 4, where they were just like everything you've seen so far were basically like Skrulls. That'd be kind of weird. Actually, it'd be kind of silly, but I think they have the rights to them. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think it'd be kind of cool. I mean, they've been talking about the Kree for so long. I think it'd be kind of cool to get into it. But should Superman just die off? Could you see him on the Avengers? Just die already, Superman or Spider-Man. Jesus. Spider-Man, I don't think he needs to die off, but I think they need to cancel his solo series and just like put him on a team somewhere. That's going to be a really unpopular opinion. I can already tell. Benny! What's up, Benny? Benny's invading my thing. Did you send me a message on Skype? No, I didn't see one. Comic Storian is here. Well, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning for Benny, so we can't call Benny because he's I'm sure he's working on stuff and trying to keep the house quiet. But anyway, so you met Benny yesterday? Well, that's awesome. I'm interrupting. See me. Oh my god. I don't know. Maybe we could let's try to call Benny. If my mouse will work. Let's pause this. And let's call Benny. Let's see. I don't think he'll answer. Hello.
The person whom you're trying to
Oh,
reach.
he's not answering. Well, that's fine. He's probably tied up with something. But Benny's hair is OP. I'm not gonna prank call Benny. It's not like he's not gonna know it's me. Like, who is this calling me? Who's prank calling me? Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and bounce off here. Yeah, guys. So thank you for coming out for our Q&A session. Again, you guys will find a channel that I've chosen to definitely check out down in the comment section or down in the description. And yeah, so I will catch you guys later. Peace. That one's just for you. Wins or whatever your name is.